Hello Kindred Longevity Lifestyle Designers, this is Gavin here with secretsoflongevity.com. Our eyes are arguably the most important sense we have. When people are given the choice of becoming either deaf or blind, as a hypothetical choice, most people choose to go deaf because our sight is so crucial for our navigation throughout the world and for our communication, both non-verbally as well as in the written word, and it's one way that we get entertainment. So naturally we want to preserve our eyesight because it is such a common problem that people have as they age for eyesight to deteriorate in a number of ways. This video is going to be a very general way of addressing most eyesight problems. What it comes down to is exactly what eyesight problems you may be having if any at all, or that you might be doing this purely for preventative reasons. There's definitely going to be certain really specific anatomical problems in the eye that this might not even affect in any way. These things I'm going to talk about, because it could just be an abnormality that might even need surgery to be corrected. I'm not talking about laser eye surgery, I'm talking about, specific anatomical aberrations of some kind. I'm not an ophthalmologist, do not take this as medical advice, but a lot of these things are not fully looked into by the mainstream medical profession, and from my personal experience as well as what I've read from countless people and also seen in people, is that they can reverse a lot of eyesight issues through some of these practices and dietary supplements and herbs. Our eyes are part of our body. We know that every tissue in our body is fed blood, and in that blood is carried nutrients, oxygen, and is a way of altering the tissues either positively or negatively depending on what it is we're taking in. And of course, there's muscles that control the eyes, and like any other muscle in the body, those muscles can be exercised and honed. And we have to recognize that the eyes are an extension of the brain, so they're extremely complex, extremely delicate, and we want to, like I've been saying, take care of them as we get older in our years, and also work them a little bit if we haven't in the past, and this can help refine and improve our vision if it's been waning. So personally, my own personal experience up to now with my eyesight, and I do have some eyesight issues that run in the family, it appears, so I might be more predisposed than someone that didn't have as much going on. I have a slight nearsightedness, meaning I have good vision up close, always have, never had any problems with that. But over time I'm finding far distance is starting to get a little bit more blurry. I first noticed this about 2 years ago when I got my license, my driver's license updated. They made me do the little eye thing, and I didn't have 20/20 vision anymore. I always had 20/20 vision, and I forget which number was changed, but it was just by like a few points. It wasn't enough for them to ask me to get glasses, because I can still see signs at a decent distance on the road, but I am starting to see those things at a distance become a little bit blurry. And then within the last year, I was actually at an ophthalmologist to look at something that had an issue going on with my eye on the outside of it, and they made me do a routine thing, and I noticed again once a slight decrease in the things there. And the nurse there was encouraging me to get an eye exam done with a registered optometrist, which I have yet to do. I'd be curious to know where I stand with that, but I have absolutely no intention of buying glasses, at least anytime soon. As we know, glasses act as a crutch. They do not help solve your vision problem. Just like if you had a bad leg and you needed a crutch for a little bit, your crutch isn't going to help your legs start to get better. What it's going to do is, take some pressure off that leg. So it might be able to do some healing on its own, but to actually get the muscles working properly in the leg and to have that leg functioning fully, you have to eventually get rid of the crutch. So it's interesting to note that with glasses, they act exactly the same way. And a lot of people notice that as soon as they get glasses, every time they go see the optometrist again, they have to start increasing their prescription. It gets stronger and stronger over time. I just wanted to add this quick point, and this would be like if you had a leg injury of some type and you were given crutches by a doctor, and during the recovery process you were then given a walker, then a wheelchair, and then eventually you were given an electric wheelchair, and then you were bedridden. That's not the way you want to
have a part of your body repair itself. Eventually you have to get rid of the crutch and then do the exercises and have the resistance that will give you the eventual reuse of that part of your body as it should.
First things first is you want to really look at your overall dietary macronutrient ratios. You really want to start looking into what fats you're consuming. The most destructive fats that you can consume are high omega-3s and 6s. If those are in a high amount in your diet, those are very inflammatory fats. They, unbeknownst to the common mainstream ideas, these polyunsaturated fats are actually the weakest and the least desirable we want to have our tissues made up of, or have them build up in our tissues. In the case of the eye, you do need a certain amount of long-chain omega-3s, which I'm going to link to a link below, and I agree with much of it. It's actually an article by PEAT. The one thing I would disagree with is fish oil or any kind of long-chain omega-3 supplement. In a decent amount, it's going to actually be beneficial for the eyes because there is a lot of EPA and or DHA contained in the eyes. But when we get into a lot of these other polyunsaturated fats, they sort of foster this not so healthy tissue that is susceptible to degeneration faster. So if you want to know more specifics into that and reasons why you want to reduce these polyunsaturated fats in your diet, check out that link below. That article is very in-depth. On that page, about 2/3, if not 3/4 of the entire page is references, so it's extremely well referenced article, scientifically speaking. And yeah, that's just that one detail I don't agree with, is which I'll talk about in a little bit, is that omega-3s from fish oils, a certain amount is necessary and does improve eyesight. Now, once you have sort of a better ratio of fats, which is much more dominant in saturated fat in your diet, you want to really sort of start playing around with what the overall balance of macronutrients works best for you. So is it going to be a little bit higher fat, a little bit higher carbohydrate? Is it going to be a little bit higher fat and protein? There's no one specific perfect way that's going to be ideal for everyone. As we know, we need to sort of experiment with this and discover what works best for us, helps us maintain the best weight, helps us be getting enough of certain things that we need to be getting, and isn't going to be stuck in rigid dogma of any type. Then of course you want to be eating mostly whole foods, getting away from a lot of these refined foods. The best things, fruits and vegetables, have tons of nutrients in them that are wonderful for eye health as well as whole body health. A big factor, if we're going to talk about Chinese medicine, is having a really healthy liver. So again, you're wanting to be consuming things that help cleanse the liver. Some of the top herbs I would recommend are not actually specific for eye health, they're actually for cleansing and protecting the liver. And you can check out this video here I've done in the recent past on top 5 herbs and superfoods you can take on a semi-regular basis or even on a concentrated basis for a quick cleanse to really get that liver in top shape. Because the Chinese herbalists recognize that the liver and eyesight were very much connected. It's a little more elaborate in detail than what I can get to in this video, but anyone that's done any kind of liver cleansing knows that there's this interesting sort of brightening of colors and clarity of eyesight that comes from doing that. And definitely the top 2 things from that list that I would highly recommend consuming on a intermittent, if not very regular basis, is goji berries and schizandra berries. Goji berries, first of all, are going to be the best because they're extremely rich in both lutein, astaxanthin, and zeaxanthin. These are the 3 top nutrients that I can recommend for eye health, which if you're not going to be taking goji berries, I'd recommend taking them in supplement form. Usually lutein and zeaxanthin are going to be found in the same supplement. The one I'm taking is actually extracted from marigold flower, so if you're taking an isolated supplement, you really want to be making sure it is a whole food source, not petrochemical based. So lutein, you want to be getting around 20 milligrams a day. If you're eating a decent amount of goji berries every day, you might be getting that. Schizandra berry is great. It's not as rich in these things, but it does have that stage 1 and stage 2 liver detoxifying qualities. And schizandra berry and goji berry traditionally were consumed together specifically for eye health. And that's one of the oldest and simplest Chinese herbal combos just for that purpose. And you can add a little bit of cinnamon in there to help, get it moving. You can make that into a tea, or you can get the extracted forms of those. There's a great schizandra berry extract you can get at the links below from Hyperion Herbs, and any purchase you make through that link does help me out and helps me continue to put out these well-researched and well-informed videos. So we've talked about some herbs, some nutrients, and overall diet. Some other really important things to be taking in are antioxidants, more specifically anthocyanins. These are pretty common, but not many people get really super concentrated forms of it. One of the first things people go to when they start researching eye health is bilberry extract, or bilberries. That's in the family that's related to blueberries. They were consumed in World War II by fighter pilots to help their night vision by the Allied forces, so we can attribute perhaps some of the success in World War II to them. So it definitely does improve night vision. What we know about berries is they improve overall vision. Anyone that's consumed, a big quart of blueberries all at once, be able to confirm that there's sort of this, once again, a brightening of vision that happens almost instantly. So virtually all berries are rich in them. Bilberries are exceptionally rich in them. Chocolate is rich in anthocyanins. So is coffee. And of course also red wine. So I'm not saying you need to consume all those. Pick a few, get a little bit in every day. I'm personally taking a bilberry extract at the moment, and I've been seeing improvements in my overall vision. And what I notice is the amount of tension around my eyes has actually been reducing in a very short period of time. So when I'm outside, I'm looking at things at a distance, I do find a squint. The exact anatomical things that are going on when you squint that allow you to see is complicated. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but that's also where pinhole glasses can come into play. The holes there, as you can see, let's get a good focus in on there. You can see up close that the holes are very small. They're a specific size, so I wouldn't recommend trying to make these yourself. They're pretty cheap to buy online. You don't want to be paying too much. I pay like 10 bucks for these. Some people can find them for even cheaper, but some places actually do try and sell them for a lot more. And there's also people making radical claims about them. I would say don't go to either side, because there's the side that says they don't do anything, and there's the sides that say they completely cure vision. It is definitely still up for debate. They do and have been improved and have been used to, in the moment, help your vision. So if I was on the street and I've literally done this, you look down the street, say half a block away, I put them on, and I'm looking at a stop sign, I can see the stop sign clearly without squinting, and my eyes can be relaxed. I take these off and immediately I see the stop sign get a little bit blurry. So it's doing the same thing that if I were to really squint and be staring at the stop sign, it would come into focus somewhat, but this does the same thing. So it reduces eye tension. You're going to get less wrinkles on your face over time if you're squinting too much. That's kind of what the purpose of glasses is, to prevent that tension from having to take place. And so where the controversy lies is in whether or not these can be a tool in actually correcting your vision. Like I said, in the moment they work. I do personally notice that after I take them off, my vision is more relaxed. So whether that's actually improving my eyesight, or if it's just making my eyes be more relaxed after the fact, it's recommended to wear them to 10 to 15, even 20 minutes a day at least. Overall, my eyes do feel more relaxed during the day, and that's going to be better for preventing eye strain, and that's that eye strain, that tension, that can actually make the vision worse. So it could be well worth it in terms of a preventative aspect. And whether or not it actually specifically improves things is redundant at that point, because we're doing all this other stuff to improve it, and I'm seeing already an improvement in my far vision, and so that's making me keep using them. So with any of the supplements I'm recommending, I would highly advocate getting something to make sure you take stuff every day. It's something I recently got, and I've always been terrible at compliance, making sure I consistently take something, and this has allowed me to fill up each day of the week with what it is I need to take. I've got vitamin D in there. It's another important thing for eyesight. So is vitamin A. I'm getting vitamin A from taking things like cod liver oil and high vitamin butter oil. You might be familiar with both of those things from Green Pastures, the company that makes really high quality supplements. You can get them in capsule form. I actually have them not in capsule form, so they're not in there. So I have to remember to take them separately. But that's a great way of getting really concentrated amounts of both the vitamin A and vitamin D, as well as other fat-soluble vitamins, as well as getting that long-chain omega-3s that is going to be very building to the eyes as well. Two other herbs you might want to consider taking is passion flower. If you have a lot of that eye tension, that can help release tension around the eyes. It's been found to be beneficial for that, as well as the herb called eyebright. You can do an eye wash with it. You make a tea, and while some people advocate filling a bucket and sticking your head and opening your eyes under the water, I've done that before, and it's kind of like doing eye exercises in the water. It might be much easier just to put goggles in, get a little bit of tea, put them on, and then roll them around like that. And that will release eye tension. It kind of helps clear up the eyes if you're having a lot of vision sort of cloudiness or blurriness. And it's also going to reduce that eye strain. You can also take that internally, and it's said to have a similar effect. So you can find links to a lot of these herbs and things below. Not all of them, but some of them are there. And that kind of rounds up the whole nutritional side of things. And the final thing we want to try and implement is how we use our eyes. So I definitely recommend regular eye exercises. You're likely going to need to do more if you have really bad vision. I'd recommend, if you have perfect vision, just having them as a daily practice, like throw it into a yoga routine or throw it into an exercise routine at the end, just as a way of maintaining the health of your eyes. And that's very simple. We'll go through one set, which is what I do, and just do multiples of this set if you have worse problems, or you can look into the Bates eye method, and there's more exercises available. I'm just going to show a few here. So actually this is going to be even a smaller set. I would usually do 9 of each exercise. So we're going to start off just simply looking to the left, looking to the right, looking to the left, right, left, right, roughly at the speed. If you want to, you can at the same time pinch your upper earlobe, which is supposed to be the pressure point that connects to the eye. So I'm pinching it. If where you would pierce your ear is right here, you're going up slightly and back slightly, and you just pinch on both sides lightly as you do that while you do these exercises. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. And so you're going to do 9 looking horizontally. You're going to do 9 looking up and down. You want to have your eyes pretty relaxed as you do this, looking all the way down, all the way up. You don't want to be forcing it too hard, but you don't want it just to be like looking. You want it to look and then almost as if you're looking just slightly further. So you're looking up and then feeling that slight tension. This is exercising the muscles of the eye. Then you're going to do diagonals, looking on diagonals like this. Then the other way, doing sort of like an X pattern. Getting a little disoriented here. Then you're going to do circles, so looking in the full circle one way, go 9 in one direction and 9 in the other. Then, this can be done outside, or if you're in a big enough room, you look up close at your finger and try and focus your best on it to the best of your ability. Then have something that you're looking at on the opposite wall and focus on that at a distance, and then come back to your finger very rapidly and focus on that, then focus on the thing at the distance, then your finger, then the thing at the distance, and do 9 of those. Then finally you're going to warm up your hands, cover your eyes completely, not letting any light in, and open your eyes into your palms, and just imagining that your eyes are relaxing even deeper and your vision's improving. So they're getting the visualization in there. And then that would be one set, and you'd repeat that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And if this is done along with the supplement routine, you're going to be helping shunt those nutrients into the eyes as well. And so you might want to time it of the exercises, doing them right after having taken those supplements. The next thing is our lifestyle around our eyes and how we can improve that. So traditionally we would have been an animal that was out in the wild, constantly looking at things at a distance, not constantly working up close and on computer screens and things like that, reading books. And so that would be arguably a reason why our vision has declined and why glasses ever needed to be created, was that we got out of a natural setting. So if we make it a regular habit of getting outside and just having our eyes relaxed, constantly looking around, acting like we would in nature, in the woods, that can be a big improvement in and of itself on our eye health. And then we also want to limit how much time we do spend looking at things up close. One of the worst things, and I'm very careful of that, is with smartphones now, people have screens even closer to their face because it's this little writing. As much as possible when I'm on the computer now, I'm increasing the size of text so I can actually sit further back and relax my eyes more. and that helps reduce the strain, because when you have that tension that you get sort of that strain which misshapes the shape of the eye, which in and of itself is going to cause the vision problems. It's going to change the muscles in the eye, the balance of them. And that's why we're doing these eye exercises. That's why we want to return to a more naturalistic way of looking at the world, and that in and of itself is going to improve our vision. One last thing, which I'm going to again return that idea that Ray Peat talks about in his article, is that the sources of light we have in our lives has a huge impact on our overall health, but also the health of our eyes. So if you have a lot more of those polyunsaturated fats in making up the tissue in your body, it causes you to be a lot more sensitive to things like natural sunlight. So you're going to end up getting damage from light, from full spectrum light, specifically light from the sun, if your eyes aren't adjusted to the sun, and if you don't have really good antioxidants and fats that make up your tissues, especially the tissues in your eye. So one way to avoid this damage from the outside light would be to have full spectrum lights in your home, so that your eyes don't adjust to darkness and to lack of the full spectrum of light, more specifically the blue pigments in the light, which is in greater abundance outside, and the ultraviolets as well. And so getting that, for instance, these lights here are full spectrum, and I have that, and that's great to have in the winter. That's great during this any time that you're being active inside and you want to sort of naturalize your eyes. And it is not as good as being out in the sun, obviously, but it is better than having incandescent light or LED lights, which will in time adjust your eyes to this false light, this sort of fake synthetic light, which then sets us up for problems when we do actually get out in the sun, and then we're going to get the really intense damage. With that being said about light, we want to also get in the habit of eliminating that really bright light exposure, especially from screens, leading up to when we go to bed. So turning off the full spectrum lights, getting off of the computer screens, the iPhone screens, the smartphone screens, all this stuff, and even investing in a simple red light such as this, which is just a red light in a regular lamp. It's nothing special. It's basically any kind of light that's been painted red, and that lets your eyes adjust to darkness slower, so you don't have such a harsh changeover when you suddenly shut off the lights. You do that an hour before bed and start to phase out the problems of the extremely harsh, almost like sunlight, full spectrum lights. Yellow lights also work because it's removing the blue pigments from the light. So those primary colors are the ones that don't have blue. Orange would also work, and that allows our brain to start switching from serotonin to melatonin, helps us relax, helps us have deeper sleep, and in return, sleep, of course, is going to be extremely restorative to the eyes. The deeper we can sleep, the more our eyes rest, and that's definitely where we want to be headed. So with that, let me know in the comments below if you've ever found you were able to improve your vision in any way through any of the methods I've talked about. The importance here is to take in the whole lifestyle changes. Don't just do one thing or take this one supplement hoping for a miracle. You really need to make it a whole lifestyle thing. We need to move back towards a more natural lifestyle, not this constantly in these false light, up close to a computer screen, and essentially changing our bodies to no longer be as vibrant and healthy as they could be. So with that, check out the links in the drop-down menu, and with that, take care and embrace life without limits.